What's up, guys? We're back with another one, and this time I'm going to break down UFC 300. The entire card delivered from top to bottom. It was an epic night of fights. UFC 300 was one of the top 3 highest grossing gates at $16.5 million. There was so many ranked fighters on the card, and literally every single fight from the early prelims to the main card could have headlined a UFC event. And the biggest winners of UFC 300 were the fans, because one of the most epic fights and finishes in UFC history happened. All right, so let's dive into the main card. The first fight of the night was in the middleweight division, Bo Nickal versus Cody Brundage. This is where I said Cody Brundage is going to be Bo Nickal's toughest test to date, and it was. Bo Nickal is still green in MMA. They're still trying to develop him, and it was also the first time he's fought in the second round. Cody Brundage, he did a good job. You know, he was able to stuff a few of Nickal's takedowns. Actually, when he got taken down in the first round, I thought that was a wrap, and he actually was able to work back to his feet and land a few strikes. But you know, the odds makers were right. That's why this was such a lopsided fight. Bo Nickal took Cody Brundage down. He grinded him out and ended up getting a submission in the second round. I'm curious to see who they match Bo up with next, because if he's matched up with a tough opponent that can stuff his takedowns and keep it on the feet, I think it's going to be a tough night for him. And also, the UFC has to be strategic and who they match him up with, because they are trying to build him up, and if he loses, it's going to spoil their plan. The next fight was in the lightweight division. It was Charles Oliveira against Arman Tsarukyan. Charles Oliveira came out. He looked like he was trying to finish the fight. He had Arman in so many different submissions, and I thought he was going to finish the fight in the first round. Arman turned around, came out, was able to take Oliveira down, which sometimes isn't the smartest decision, because Oliveira is so damn good off of his back and in his guard, and he transitions from one submission to the next submission. But Arman did control him for quite a bit of the fight, and he also outlanded Charles Oliveira with so many more significant strikes. At the end of the fight, this is where it's a little controversial with the decision in the fans' eyes, because if Oliveira would have won the split decision, then the Tsarukyan fans are going to be upset. And this is where I would hate to be a judge, but no matter what, you're going to have the people that are supporting you. If you lose, they're going to be pissed, and they always have something to say because there wasn't such a definitive finish or just a outclassing of a fight. But ultimately, it was a great fight, and Arman got the split decision win. In the next fight, it was for the BMF title in the lightweight division, Justin Gaethje against Max Blessed Holloway. You know, Justin, the highlight. Gaethje, he's one of the most violent guys, goes out there every single time to entertain the fans and literally put his life on the line. And I read Max Holloway is the only fighter in UFC history to hold all 4 of the title belts. So the old design of the UFC belt, the new design, he was the interim champion, and now he's the BMF champion. The fans, they definitely won for UFC 300 with this fight, because both guys came out, and just their styles of fighting is so violent and entertaining. Whereas a lot of people were counting out Max Holloway, just saying that he's too small, he's going up a weight class. But if you see the weigh-ins, Max is just as tall, if not a little taller than Gaethje, and he's a big individual. He's an Islander, so I want to say he probably walks around at 180 to 185 plus. So I know even coming down to lightweight at 155 pounds, it was still a tough cut for him. With Gaethje, everyone knew he was going to come straight forward, get in the pocket, land the most brutal leg kicks, and put everything into his strikes. All right, so the fight started off entertaining, but they were both trying to fill each other out. You know, there was a bit of a filling out process, trying to get their timing, their speed, everything about, you know, the fight game that you're collecting all this data with. And a major turning point of the fight was when Max Holloway hit Justin Gaethje with that spinning back kick at the end of the round and hit him right in the nose. It looked like he broke Gaethje's nose, and even in the corner you could hear Trevor Whitman saying, "Do not blow your nose." And typically this means someone did possibly break their nose, because if you do sustain an injury like that and you do so, it'll completely close one of your eyes and can hinder your ability to see. It can also affect your conditioning and your breathing, and in the end it can affect you mentally, which it seemed like it did early in the fight. Max seemed like he was just on too. You know, he's so known for being such a good boxer, so he was landing punches, he was in and out using his footwork, he's really good with range and distance, and was just implementing everything. He was touching him and then he'd be out of there, so it was tough for Gaethje to even land shots on him. But when Gaethje was able to land shots, and when he did, you know, he dropped Max. I know Max has never been finished, which he's still, that's still there, but he's never been dropped. But I do feel like, and I saw in the press conference, you know, even Max was playing into this and kind of admitting, but being sarcastic, that he said he slipped. But I do feel like Gaethje deserves the credit for actually knocking Max Holloway down. So coming into the fifth round, the final round, I feel like Max was doing such a great job to where he was either going to win on the scorecards 3-2 or even 4-1, but he was definitely going to pull off a unanimous decision. But these guys still, just with 15 seconds left, Max did his famous pointing to the ground, and Justin Gaethje obliged, and they just were throwing haymakers, and the entire crowd was on their feet. I could only imagine the electricity that was in the T-Mobile Arena that night. And then with 1 second left on a 5-round title fight, Max Holloway knocks out Justin Gaethje in just the most savage way and became the BMF champion. So what's next for Max Holloway? I feel that he can pick whatever he wants to do. He's earned it. If he wants to fight for the lightweight title eventually, I think he deserves it. If he wants to fight for the featherweight title, he's earned that as well. I do feel that Volkanovski should get an immediate rematch, but it doesn't look like he's going to do so. And the UFC wants to make a huge fight, and this is the fight to make. Ilia Topuria against Max Holloway in Spain, I think would sell ridiculous numbers, and the lead up to the fight would be insane as well. In the co-main event for UFC 300 was for the strawweight title, Weili Zhang versus Yan Xiaonan. The fight started off really good where, you know, Yan came out and she found her distance and her range fairly quick because she landed some hard, powerful shots, dropping the champion. And this is where Zhang knew coming into the fight that she was going to probably have to implement some of her wrestling and jiu-jitsu, which she did, and it showed. She was able to take Yan down, landing some vicious ground and pound and looking for some submissions. But Yan is so resilient, and this fight meant everything to her, so she bounced back very fast after the first round, and the fight was back and forth the entire time. The 25 minutes of this fight, you know, it was a close bout, and Yan was trying to finish the fight up until the final bell, which Zhang did win a unanimous decision, but the fight was so close, and I still feel like the fans, you know, won with having this as the co-main event. I feel like Yan will come back even stronger, and she'll eventually be a strawweight champion. The main event for UFC 300 was for the light heavyweight title, Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. In this fight, man, I was completely wrong. I thought Jamal was going to go out there and shock the world. He is fast, he's a big guy, he has a lot of power, so I was thinking he was going to catch Alex Pereira, but it just goes to show how damn good he is. You know, he came out there, and even he got kicked in the cup, and he called off the referee, which was just an absolute savage move. And then he goes out there and drops him with his famous left hook and TKOs Jamal Hill in the first round with like 3 minutes and 15 seconds into it, just showing how good Alex Pereira is. And with him not taking any damage in this fight, he was already saying he wants to fight at heavyweight at UFC 301 in May in Brazil. He also wants to be the first ever UFC fighter to hold 3 titles in 3 different weight classes. If anyone can do it, I think he can. Another thing that I thought was really special for the fighters at UFC 300 was the bonuses. Dana White increased the performance bonuses to $300,000. So the fight of the night was Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway, of course. They both got $300,000. A performance bonus went to Max Holloway for the knockout, so he got $600,000 just in bonuses for the card. And the other performance of the night went to Yuri Prochazka. I feel that bonuses like this should be the new norm. I've always thought they should be big amounts of cash, $250,000 to $500,000. If these bonuses were this significant amount of money, all it does is help out with our training camp. Because what people don't understand is that we're independent contractors. So a lot of it goes to management, it goes to taxes, self-employment taxes, it's recovery. Everything about it is expensive. Coaches' fees, travel, hotels, food, the list goes on. And you know, you get a $50,000 bonus, and how much of that do we actually take home as fighters? Maybe $20,000 or $25,000. And I know with these $300,000 bonuses, I kept seeing a lot of fans saying that, oh, these fights are gonna be insane. They don't make us fight harder. I promise you that. Every single fight I'm in, every strike I throw, I'm trying to put the guy away. Like, the bonuses do not make us fight harder. They narrow our chances of when we do get a big knockout or we have a spectacular back and forth fight. It narrows our odds of winning the lotto. First off, I want to thank everyone that came out to Knee Deep in Auburn, California for the launch of my One Punch IPA. Man, we had a blast. I got to visit with so many people and drink a ton of beer and watch UFC 300. So thanks again, everyone who came out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your guys' favorite moment of UFC 300. I think I might know what it is, but we'll catch you on the next one.